I ain't no life coach, but I'm gonna try my best. Hey guys, before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and if you have a question, please ask it down below in the comments. If I can make a Comedy Tip Tuesday out of it, I definitely will. If I can't, I'll just answer you in a comment response. So either way, you will get your question answered. No question is stupid to me. If you have a legitimate question, I will do my best to answer it. What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world, back with another Comedy Tip Tuesday. I want to talk about this only because I have a few friends and people that I've been coaching that have been going through this. And so what I want to talk about today is the importance of believing in yourself, trusting yourself, and allowing yourself to be your silly self if you're going to be a stand-up comedian. I know this isn't an advice for everybody. Some people aren't really going to be able to take anything from this because maybe they have a particular POV, as they say, which if you're not familiar with that term, that's point of view. And a lot of times when people think of their POV, it's because an agent or a manager or somebody in the industry has told them that if you want to be a successful comedian, you have to be the blank comic, you know? So that would be like the gay comic, the silly white girl comic, the fat comic. And so everything you do is supposed to be dictated by this particular character that you decided at some point that you were going to do. I don't live that way. I really do believe when it comes to stand-up comedy, absolutely anything I think is absolutely anything I would say. So if an idea comes to me and it doesn't necessarily go with the character of Ty Rivera or what people think Ty Rivera is, I don't worry about that. That's not my problem. I'm here to do what I want to do and make you laugh, but at the same time, I'm not trying to compromise the person I am to make you laugh or continue to have you as a fan. And the reason I say that this has been coming up with a lot of my friends lately is because one guy came to me and he has, I guess, what you could call sort of a gangbanger look. He's a Latino as well. And he came to me at a mic and he was like, "Hey, Ty, I just don't know if what I'm doing is the right thing right now because people look at me and they see like a gangbanger type, but I want to do like more silly stuff I find funny." And I just told him, you do whatever you want to do. You do whatever feels true to you. The audience can feel whatever they want to feel about you, but you can change that perception just by what comes out of your mouth. Like a lot of times that happens with me. People will think automatically because I have tattoos, because I have piercings, that I'm going to be a particular type of person. And then I start speaking and then they're like, "Oh, so that's what he is." And I also would say that in a lot of cases, people are pleasantly surprised by that. So don't be afraid to just come out with what you actually want to talk about. I had another friend tell me not too long ago that he was a little bit worried that the audience was laughing at him and not with him. Well, I watch this comic regularly and I know that the audience is laughing at his jokes, at what he's saying. They're laughing with him. Sometimes they will seem like they're laughing at him, but it's because he does do a little bit of a character, and I think that character that he does is really fun, and knowing him off stage, I see exactly where that character comes from, and like most of us, it's just an amplified version of what he is in regular life, and so it comes off as kind of charactery in a way, I guess, but if you know him, you know that that's actually what he's like. So with him, I was like, yeah, don't worry about that. Don't get in your head about that stuff. Don't forget, you're not there to be the coolest guy in the room. You're there to be the funniest guy on stage. So yeah, everything's going to be amped up. And that's why I make the distinction between coolest guy in the room, funniest guy on stage, because when you're on stage, everything has to be amped up at least a little bit. That's the way we all work as comics. I don't know a single comic that doesn't amp it up at least a little bit to get on stage. It's the way you get the point across. It's also why people wear extra makeup on stage, because you can't see it as well on stage. The light washes it out. Same with your personality. If you're on stage and you're not giving anything, even if you're a low energy comic, you still have to give more than you would give in regular life so that it distributes over the 300 people or 100 people or 50 people that you're performing for. So I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff. What I would tell you guys is to really believe in yourselves. Like if you think something's funny, if you think something's good and you try it on stage and it doesn't work the first time, tweak it a little bit. Try it again. Don't be afraid to test things out and try things in different ways. And you don't have to be committed to the first way you try them. And just because they don't work one time doesn't mean they completely don't work. Sometimes it is about your confidence and, you know, getting used to saying the words. And so that'll help out as well. So don't be afraid of the repetition of it at the same time. If you have to keep trying it different ways, and keep trying it different ways. But I tell you guys to believe in yourselves because this is stand-up comedy and it's just you on stage with the mic in most most cases with stand-up comedy. So if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect the rest of the audience to believe in you? How do you expect the people online to believe in you? You've got to at least start by believing in yourself. Tell yourself how funny you are. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be a life coach, but this is where positive affirmations would come in handy. You know, if you have to repeat something to yourself over and over and over just to make yourself believe it, then do that. And I'm not clowning on that in any way. There were certain things that I had to kind of wash from my brain. Sometimes you feel like everybody's noticing a particular thing and you're just like, yeah, maybe I don't want to talk about that. Like with me, it was specifically with gay. Like I never spent a day where I was in the closet when it came to stand-up comedy. But there was a point in the beginning where I was like, well, being a gay comic isn't all I want to be. So I had to force myself to do material that was not gay specific material. And then it got to a point where I would do 20 minutes at the beginning of my set when I'd be headlining that was just completely regular material, not addressing the gay at all. And that's where I had to be confident, because in your head you're thinking they know you're gay, they want you to talk about being gay. And then I would go into my gay material, and it was surprising to me how many people would come up to me after the show and be like, I wouldn't have even known you were gay if you hadn't said it, or I wasn't even thinking about even your orientation until you brought it up. I mean, like, it was funny material once you brought it up, but it wasn't anything that was on my mind. So I had to learn that just because I was thinking that people saw me in a particular way or were putting a particular label on me, that I had to live up to that, not realizing that a fair amount of the audience hadn't even thought that of me or put that label on me. That was something that was self-imposed. So that's why I say, if you're going to be a comic, do what you want to do. As long as it's funny, or you're trying to make it funny, I wouldn't worry about people's perceptions of you before you get on stage. I wouldn't force myself to conform to what it is I think that people want, because like I just said, it may not be what people want. It may not be what people expect. It may not be what people are thinking of you. It may just be you putting that on yourself and deciding that because you have put that on yourself, that that's what you have to live up to, and that's what these people are expecting. And like I said, when it comes to the funny part, do. Just trust in yourself and believe in yourself and know that you are funny, even if you haven't found the way to actually turn that into funny on stage. I'll tell this story and I'll get out of here. When it comes to if you're feeling just completely not funny and your sets aren't going well, this is a story I'll tell you really quick. When I was first starting out in comedy, maybe a couple years in, a comedian by the name of Henrietta showed up on the scene. Henrietta was an older white woman, and she was visibly older. So when she would get on stage, the audience would give her what I would call old white lady respect. And because of that, when she would bomb, because the audience would be being respectful to her. So they wouldn't boo her, they wouldn't heckle her, they would just allow her to bomb, and they'd be completely quiet while it was going on. And I remember, since I was a newer comic, thinking to myself, this lady just isn't funny. She's never going to be funny. It's not working. Pack it up. Go home, Henrietta. So I hadn't seen Henrietta in a little while, probably less than a year, 6 months to 9 months go by. The next time I saw her, don't you know, Henrietta was absolutely killing it. And I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. She was killing it all over LA. Different rooms, different demographics, working everywhere she could possibly work. We actually ended up in a contest together where she made it to the finals. I ended up winning, but she made it to the finals, and Henrietta actually ended up being a decent comic. I don't know if she still does comedy, and I probably should have changed her name. But anyway, my point is, don't give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. Even if you think you're not funny or it's not coming across right now, there's still hope for you. Just believe in yourself, work on your material, don't be afraid of repetition, and don't let the audience dictate to you what you're going to be on stage. You decide what you're going to be on stage. Nobody else is in control of that but you. That's the power of you being one person on the mic, standing on stage alone. Anyway, this has been Comedy Tip Tuesday. This is Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.